and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. Do you know what? In the week I had a thought about not saying that intro anymore. Imagine, how would you feel if I didn't say that intro anymore, if I was just like, hi, today we're talking about this. I don't know, I've been doing it for a good 5 years now. I wonder if it's time to, you all know who I am, or do I carry on doing it? I don't know, let me know. Today I'm going to be doing my October at the moment video, which I do sort of halfway through the month, and at the moment video is where I talk about the last film, TV, book, music, podcast, whatever I've been listening to, what I've been up to. Just because, like, sometimes I consume stuff in the middle of the month or throughout the month that don't always appear in my favourites, so it's just a good opportunity to sort of talk about things that are ongoing, and I really enjoy talking about things that are ongoing, and I feel like it's nice to get recommendations and things like that this way. So stop talking about it and just get on with it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the last film I watched. So the last film I watched was a film called Night Watch, which I watched when I was unwell with tonsillitis. I'm going to stop going on about that soon because we've all said it. Like, you all know I was ill with tonsillitis. Night Watch is a film adapted from, oh, it's hidden away, the book by Sarah Waters, which is set in the 40s, and you follow four main characters as they're sort of in war, with the backdrop of wartime Britain, and you follow them at the end of the 40s, and then throughout the book and the film, you work back and find out like what happened to them before that time, and then what happened to them before that time. Really enjoyed it. It's got Anna Maxwell Martin in it, very much enjoy her. Claire Foy, very much enjoy her. And who else was in it? Somebody else I really like. Oh, and Jodie Whittaker, who plays Doctor Who. It was a really good cast, and I really enjoyed it. And for some parts of it, so we read The Night Watch for my Patreon book club in September, and I need to do a post about it on there actually, because I said that's what I would do. And what I enjoyed about the film, that I enjoyed even more than the book in some places, is that you got a lot more closure, and the characters were very much wrapped up a bit more at the end of the film, which really is not the case in the novel itself. So sometimes I like books where it just sort of leaves you guessing a bit, but like the film, it just wrapped it up just a little bit better for me, and it's just, yeah, it sort of brings it back to the present and what's happening now. So very much enjoyed the film. Just really enjoyed it, and if you've read the Sarah Waters book and you enjoyed it, then I really would recommend the film. Very cozy watching, sort of like period drama. Is it called period drama if it's set in war? Don't know, is that far back? How do you qualify for something to be called a period drama? Anyway, really enjoyed it, found it was very good. What have we been watching on TV? The last thing I watched on TV, David and I and my friends Emily and Jenny, who came over for dinner last night, we watched the third episode of The Apprentice, which is basically like they scour the country for the biggest knobheads they can find, and then they pit them all against each other every week using sort of like the excuse of like, these are business tasks, and the big ultimate prize is that they're going to go into business with Lord Alan Sugar, who's a business bigwig in the UK, and he is going to fund them £250,000 to start up their own business. And yeah, they have different tasks every week. I mean, you've said that there'll be variations of this wherever you live in the world. Yeah, so that we really enjoy it. The people that are on it are just idiots. They're no one, like, they just want to be famous. Like, last night it was the task where they had to make a children's toy for a child between the ages of 6 to 8. Now Jenny is Molly's mum. Molly is 4, and she was it was interesting watching it with her, because she was sort of saying, oh no, like that's too young. Molly wouldn't even play with that and things like that. So that was an interesting viewpoint to watch it with. And yeah, really enjoyed watching it and enjoyed the series, and then also enjoy the programme after it, which is called You're Fired, where they interview the person who gets fired, with Tom Allen, who is quickly becoming one of my favourite TV presenters and comedians in the UK. Really like him, find his comedy very funny, so enjoy watching that as well. So yeah, that's the TV programme I watched last. Next thing is the book that I'm reading. I'm currently got 2 books on the go. I'm currently reading Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman, which is the book that I'm reading for my Patreon book club at the moment. I've just filmed my mid-month check-in for my Patreon book club, where I talk about my initial thoughts, and normally I talk about sort of like the first 20 to 40 pages, but I'm loving this so much. I'm like over halfway through, absolutely adoring it. Perfect time of year to read it, cozy, cute, wonderful, everything about it, loving it. And I'm also listening to the Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman. I've got about 3 hours of that left, and I'm frantically trying to listen to it, but not like really, I don't want to rush through it because I love it so much. So I can start reading The Secret Commonwealth, because The Secret Commonwealth has been out like 2 weeks now. I haven't even opened it, and I need to get to that, which is the second book in the Book of Dust. So yeah, hopefully we'll finish listening to the Amber Spyglass this weekend, and then can crack on with The Secret Commonwealth. Music I've been listening to, so this is a plug for, well, this is true because this is the music I've been listening to, but it's also a plug because David has created on Spotify a playlist of all the songs that are being used in Strictly Come Dancing this year. It's called the Strictly Pod Dancing playlist. It's got the same name as the podcast that David and I have. We've got a podcast where we talk about Strictly Come Dancing, and yeah, I've just been listening to it all the time. It's perfect listening. I've got it on Spotify, and I've got it so that I can listen to it offline as well. So every time I'm in Wi-Fi, it updates. It's got maybe hundreds, might be. There's quite a lot of songs on there. Songs on there range, like all sort of like songs that you can dance to, from slow songs to quick songs. Really, really good range of music, and with some like new music, which is music that David and I just don't listen to. David's a bit better than I than listening to new music, but yeah, been very much enjoying listening to that. And I think he's got sort of like 600 followers on that playlist. So if you are looking for a new playlist to follow, then please go ahead over there and try that. The most recent podcast I've been listening to is a podcast by Radio 4 called Beyond Today. This is a podcast that comes out every day, every weekday, and it's normally about sort of 20 minutes long, and it asks one question about the biggest news stories of today. So for instance, the one I've just been listening to is Trump responsible for the rise in ISIS? And it's sort of like a response to a news story that has been going on. Now, I've been finding it interesting. I don't really listen to much news, mainly because it depresses me, and I also try to treat this space here a very sort of like news-free zone, just because I like to escape here, because you all know there's shit going on in this country that is completely out of, it feels like, anyone's control, and there's awful stuff going on all over the world. But I really try to keep this channel a sort of news-free place, just so it's a place for me to escape to, it's a place for you guys to escape to, where we don't have to talk about Brexit and things like that, and I try really hard to do that. But this podcast I found very, very interesting because it's looking deeper into stories, and the next one I've got to listen to, and sometimes it's stories that I've never even heard about. So it's the next episode I've got, sorry, BBC Sound, it's called What Actually Happened in Ayia Napa, and this is about this is looking into more detail on a story about a British woman who's on trial in Cyprus, where she's accused of causing public mischief by allegedly falsely claiming to have been sexually assaulted at an Ayia Napa hotel in July. The woman has told the court she was raped, but then forced to retract her statement by the Cypriot police 10 days later. So yeah, just looking into, and like I because I don't listen to much news, it's a way of sort of keeping myself in touch with the news without sitting through masses and masses of news headlines on the news and things like that. So yeah, really recommend that podcast. It's done by, the episodes I've been listening to are done by Tina Dahealy, who's a newsreader from the BBC, but there's also another guy that does it as well, and I've just been finding it very valuable, so hopefully you guys will too. And they're really not very long, they're like 20 minutes, so it's just like just enough to sort of like think, okay, right, now that's the news done, now we can get on with the day. What have I been doing online? David and I are going on holiday at the end of November. I don't know if you remembered, but last year for David's birthday I got him a trip to Disneyland. That was his Christmas present, and we'd sort of always earmarked this week in November that we would go at some point during there, and when it come around to sort of booking it this year, we were looking at it, and it's going to cost a hell of a lot of money, more money than I'd anticipated, and more money than David had anticipated. And although Disney is not something I despise, it's definitely not something I enjoy as much as David does, and it's a lot of money to spend for something that only one of us was really going to enjoy. So David, quite kindly and lovely, said to me, I'd really prefer it if we were to go somewhere else where we both enjoy going on holiday. Also, I'm not a big fan of like big rides and stuff. I get quite like, it doesn't take much to crick my neck and hurt my back and stuff. So we'd probably be spending quite a lot of time apart, because he'd be in queues for stuff and I'd be sort of like reading at the side the queue. So he decided that we wouldn't do that. We'd maybe do it a bit later on when our niece has grown up a bit, or when we've got other people to go with. So we decided on that. So we were looking at holidays elsewhere. We were considering Centre Parks, but we're going on holiday to Centre Parks with my family next year, and we've already been to Centre Parks once this year. And we've ended up going, we've booked a place to go to in the Forest of Dean, which is sort of just Wales, literally just over the border, and you're there. We've been looking into places and things to do while we're in Wales, while we're on holiday in the Forest of Dean. There's plenty of walks and lovely things like that. You might have heard of it because they mention it in Harry Potter when Ron, Hermione and Harry are sort of zipping around in their tent. They stay in the Forest of Dean. It's about an hour from Bristol, so we're going to spend the day in Bristol. They've got some Christmas markets there, which will be quite excited. So I've been looking at things to do around that area and in Bristol, and you may have seen on my Instagram yesterday I asked for pizza recommendations for places in Bristol because we just love pizza and it would be nice to go and try some pizza in a different city. And we're also going to go to a board game cafe when we're there. There's a local cinema near to where we're staying. We're going to do that. So yeah, I've been spending a lot of time online looking at things to do, which is exciting when we go on holiday because it's going to come around really quickly. It's going to be here like in about 5 or 6 weeks. And it's my birthday while I'm there as well. So David's got a birthday day planned for me as well, which is exciting. So that's what I've been doing online. What have I been doing on YouTube? Guys, I've been rewatching Vlogmas. I've been rewatching Vlogmas because in the same way that holiday is going to come round, by the time that holiday is here, that is the last week before Vlogmas starts. So I need to have Vlogmas plans in my head. So I've been rewatching Vlogmas to see what I got up to last year, what order I put my videos in, because as much as I love the uniformity of Vlogmas, in that there's always going to be a sort of like December TBR and a November wrap up and birthday haul and vlogs and things like that, I don't want it to be a sort of carbon copy of last year. I still want it to be fresh with new ideas and things like that. So I'm sort of watching it thinking, oh yeah, that worked and that didn't work and things like that. So yeah, today is Thursday when I'm filming this, it's the day where I do my YouTube stuff. So I'm actually taking a bit of time to write down some Vlogmas ideas and plot some videos and things like that. So we'll probably be rewatching a little bit more of Vlogmas, but it definitely gets me in the Christmassy spirit. It's very, very enjoyable. So that is my October at the moment video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Let me know what you've been up to at the moment. Let me know what you've been watching, listening to, reading, or doing online. Very, very interested as always, and I will see you all again soon for another BookTube video. Goodbye!